Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'll show you how to make a vegan chocolate cake. My channel is called Lily and Peony. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. In a large bowl, I have half self-raising flour and half plain flour. To that, I add some baking powder, baking soda, and salt, sugar, and corn flour. I also add some cacao powder and mix the drying ingredients together. I have fermented some apple cider vinegar in soya milk and left it to sit for a couple of minutes. Next, I add this mixture into my batter and some sunflower oil. I fold this mixture together, making sure that I don't overmix. I'm making a 4-layer 6-inch cake. I am making them 2 layers at a time. I start by greasing my pans thoroughly and also lining them with baking paper. When it comes to baking, I think exact measurements are very important. So I'm using a scale to make sure that my batter is distributed evenly in all 4 of my pans. Once I have the right amount, I make sure I tap them on my counter to release any air bubbles. Then I'm using a Wilton bake strip. These baking strips have been wet thoroughly, and these are a great tool for an even bake. For the buttercream, I start with whipping some dairy-free margarine on high for 2 minutes to start with. Then I scrape the side of the bowl to make sure all the margarine is incorporated, and then I mix it on high again for another 2 minutes. Next, I add half of my powdered sugar and mix it on very low. I just want the powdered sugar to be mixed in. Once that's done, for 10-15 seconds, I add the rest of my powdered sugar and mix it on low to start with, then gradually increase the speed. Then I add in some corn flour and continue mixing. Making sure I scrape the bowl from time to time so that everything is nicely incorporated together. When my buttercream is done, I put half of it into a piping bag. To the other half, I add some purple food coloring. And mix it together until the color is incorporated into the buttercream. Again, I scrape the side to make sure everything is mixed well together and has one consistent color. I also transfer this purple buttercream into a piping bag. Next is the assembly of the cake. I start with a small dollop on an 8-inch cake board. This helps the cake to stick onto the board. Then to that I add my first layer and also the first layer of buttercream. I'm choosing the first layer of buttercream to be white. I personally like my buttercream to be a very thin layer, so this is an entirely personal preference. You can have a thicker layer of buttercream if you prefer. I just like thinner layer. Then I add the second layer of cake, and the second layer of buttercream is purple. Here again, I add a very thin layer. My final layer of cake, I flip it upside down so that I can have a flat surface at the top. Then I put some white buttercream on top and around the cake. This first layer of buttercream is called the crumb coat, and I'm trying to seal in any crumbs in the cake on this first layer. The effect I'm going for is a white and purple marble-ish effect, and therefore I also add some purple into this first layer as well. Do fill in any holes as you see fit. Scrape off any excess and smooth out the top, then it's ready to go into the freezer for 30 to 60 minutes to chill. Next, I'm doing exactly the same thing for the second layer. I start with some white buttercream, I smooth that out a little bit, and then I add dollops of the purple buttercream and smooth that out too. Then I use a big scraper to scrape off any excess and try to get a as smooth surface as I possibly can. You'll notice I'm also using really long strokes here, and I go back in and fill in any holes I see and then continue scraping with long big strokes. I personally also really like using this clear, flexible scraper. I feel like it gives me a lot of control. So I just scrape and add more buttercream where I think there is a need to until I get as smooth as a consistency as I can and one that I'm happy with. To make the decoration for the top of the cake, in some cling film, I am putting some purple buttercream and then some white buttercream on top of this cling film. I wrap the cling film together, snip off the front, and then put it into a piping bag with a Wilton flower rose piping tip. Then what I do is I squeeze that down and I pipe 4 flowers. I make sure they are spaced evenly. Between the flower roses, I also add some blackberry and some blueberry. You can, of course, be as creative as you want here. This is just what I decided to go with. I hope you liked this video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.